Hey guys, this is John. Happy New Year to you all. It is January 2nd, 2015, and I'm on the ICC playing 3-minute against Maestro Ask. And I am from Russia, and we already have a pretty unusual setup. I'm going to play e5 just to stop his knight from coming somewhere, namely to f4. Alright, well, this is certainly unusual, the way he's playing it. It's almost like a duck and cover strategy for white. He's just turtling up, the knight comes to f2. Very provocative opening. We'll see how this shapes up. I think I'm going to go a5. He'll probably play a4 just to stop my pawn from advancing. And now, let's just play h6. I think that's a useful move. Make sure my bishop can retreat later on if I want. He might be trying to get some sort of like pawn roller going later. g4, h5. I could take. I could also just play queen c7. I think that's fine, so I'll do it. Yeah, I'll just centralize. I'll play rook a d8 after this. I could also go just bishop g6 now. Yeah, let's go bishop g6. I just didn't want him to play bishop f5. Might be a minor concern, but so he's trading this off. He's trying to restrict my light square bishop, it seems. Okay. Well, I would expect him to play h5, and I played f6 to give my bishop a retreat square to f7. I'd rather have it on the g8, a2 diagonal than the h7, b1, seeing as how white has all these pawns on light squares. So let's just centralize as planned. I think I want to send this knight into maybe the f4 square, so I'm going to play knight e6 after this, if he lets me. Yeah, so I'll do this, and I'm eyeing that square. I really like the position of my knight now. Okay, so he attacks my bishop. I probably should trade. Let's do that. Maybe h5. h5 is interesting. Yeah, I like the look of h5. Just try to break up these pawns. Also preempts him from playing h5, which would establish another pawn on a light square. I just don't quite trust his pawn structure on the king side and in the center. So I'm curious how he'll respond to this, because now he has to constantly think of various ways I can capture. Like I can take on g4, then take on e4, and saddle him with some weaknesses. In fact, that looks pretty good. If I take, and then play knight f4 check, or take here, then knight f4 check. That seems strong. Seems pretty good. Let's do it right away. Let's just see how he responds. I think he should actually move his king. I don't think he should take my knight. Oh, he took, okay. Well, if I'm not mistaken, this is going to turn out well for me. Maybe I'll just throw in b6 first, just to see what he does. He'll probably retreat to c3. But then my plan is to capture on g4. And he has trouble with his structure, keeping it together. Because if he takes this way, then I take on e4. Okay, so he's thrown in the capture on d5. Let's just take here. Now, I can get my queen involved really quickly. I could give a check and then play f3. That looks pretty darn good. Let's do that. I don't have a whole ton of time, so I'm going to go with that one. And the idea is just try to get my queen to h2. If he plays rook h1 to stop it, I have rook e2 check. And the infiltration of my queen will be deadly. I think he's probably going to play something like pawn d6 just to try to slow me down. But it honestly doesn't slow me down that much.
Check.
I mean, this has got to be decisive, right? I just got to find
time warning.
Let's just do this. Let's just take. Yeah, this is just decisive.
Check.
It's mate next move.
Checkmate.
Okay. Oh, cool attack there at the end. Let's have a look. We'll back up. So he chose this Fianchetto setup. Don't see too many people play e4 in this position. Almost always they play knight f3 and just castle and play it like a normal King's Indian attack. So e4 gives me the option of going directly into an endgame. So just swapping and then going into this endgame. But I don't think this is particularly advantageous for black. Also, the move I played, bishop g4, just leads to a more dynamic position, so I like that a bit better. So I did this, retreated the bishop to h5, and he did this unusual development of the knight to f2, which, given that he's already moved his f-pawn, the forget about it pawn, f-pawn stands for forget about it, given that he's done that, it's probably not a bad idea for him to direct his knight here, because he needs that in order to shield his g1 a7 diagonal so he can castle. I don't think in the opening there was too much going on. It was just both sides completing development. I played a5. I've talked about in past videos how knights on b3 and b6, or on the other side of the board, g3 and g6, can often be chased by rook pawns. So that's what I'm doing with this move, a5. Got him to play a4, h6. So this is the type of position where I think a lot of players would struggle to find a plan for black because it doesn't seem like there is a plan that's readily apparent. So in such situations, especially in a blitz game, it's totally okay to play just constructive moves, moves that you feel will benefit you in the long run. So h6 creates luft for my king. It allows me to escape any back rank problems later on. Also, it ensures that should my bishop be attacked, it can always retreat, and it won't be just completely trapped in by an avalanche of white pawns on the king side. So I'm not particularly concerned about, for instance, relieving the tension in the center, playing d takes e4 or d4, because there's no reason to. I don't have to make that decision yet. So it's fine to just play improving moves, and that's what I did over the next couple moves. h6, queen c7, bishop g6, I did that, I think I mentioned, just to stop him from going bishop f5. I thought that would make my bishop potentially a bit more uncomfortable on h5. So, yeah, nothing too insane. I was a little baffled by his decision to play bishop takes h3. I don't particularly like that move for him, because my knight is not that effective of a piece here. In fact, it's kind of a superfluous piece because my knights are stepping in each other's toes a bit. So I'm not sure why he just decided to give up his light square bishop for that knight. I like this f6 plan. Then I have more of a future for my bishop coming back here. Rook a d8. Yeah, and this was key. So now I wanted to send this knight to a better square where it has more potential, and I think that square is e6. Like, then it will have lots of options, specifically on that f4 or maybe d4 square. Now, pretty soon, yeah, h5. I think this is where it really started going in my favor. I'm just curious what the engine thinks about this position. Yeah, so it likes black quite a bit. It actually suggests I play b6. That's another constructive move. It defends a5 and also keeps an eye on the c5 square. But I bet h5 is also pretty good. If you played g5 here, I was planning on going f5 and ratcheting up the pressure on e4. So, yeah, he's got some troubles now. He did that.
Check.
And then I jumped in, and yeah, as I alluded to, I don't think he should take this knight. I think taking the knight's a mistake. Originally, I was intending to do, like, take, then take here. He takes back, and then knight f4, with the intention of going after this pawn. But I thought that would be a little bit too obvious. Like, if I defer the pawn trades until after I've played knight f4, that hides my intentions a little bit more.
Check.
It's not like he's capable of not finding what I'm... He's totally capable of understanding what I'm up to with knight f4, but it's just a trickier move order. So, and he took, but that seems bad. So I think he should have just moved his king, like the computer was suggesting king g3. But even still, black is doing very well. I like this position a lot for me. And the reason for that is, like, if he doesn't trade knights, it's harder for me to open the E file. So after any subsequent trade on E4 or G4, I can't get at the E pawn as easily as I did in the game. Because I would bet in the game after he takes my knight when it jumps into F4. Yeah, this position is just probably losing for him. He went here. I played B6 just to back his queen off. Make sure he doesn't take on A5. Yeah, now
check.
Take on F3.
Check.
I gave a check here. Yep, and that F3 move is decisive. He can't cope with queen H2. And if he had played rook here, I can just bring this in, and the introduction of my queen to G3 is just decisive. So yep, he's falling apart rapidly here.
Check.
Okay, and here I guess I had a mate in 9 starting with queen E2, but didn't have much time, so I know this move is totally winning as well. So
check.
Yep, and then he fell into mate.
Mate.
Okay, well, nice to get a victory there. I'm over 2,400 in 3 minute. I guess I was already before this game, but just seeing where I'm at on the 3 minute list right now. Well, I'm getting up there. I don't know, maybe number 12 or so on the 3 minute list. Not bad. All right, hope you guys enjoyed that game, and I will talk to you later. Thanks, guys.